Hey, it's Stephanie from SixFiguresUnder.com. It's time for another monthly budget update. I've been sharing our family's personal finances since the fall of 2013 when we were in 6 figures of student loan debt. Originally, I started sharing our income and expenses to help keep us on track and motivated in our debt payoff. It's amazing how much accountability it gives us to be sharing our goals and our progress online. I found that sharing our finances helps break the money is taboo stigma. Most people learn to budget through trial and error without ever taking a look at a real working budget, which is too bad. My inbox tells me that you agree that it's helpful to see another family's budget even when your numbers are totally different. In the description, I'll link to the blog post where I detail our monthly income and expenses if you want more information. Okay, let's jump into the budget for March. And at the end, I'll show you how we're setting up our budget for April. So we budget based on last month's income. So at the beginning of the month, we have right here all the money that we have available to budget. And the first thing we do is pay our tithing. And if you look at this note here, you can see that our tithing is based on the income we earned in February. So I keep track of it all right here in this little comment box. So I know that this is our total and 10% of that is what we pay in tithing. Fast offering is a donation we make each month. Our monthly bills are pretty easy to predict. Our car insurance is about the same each month. It went up recently. And this is for my cell phone. My husband's is through his business, but our cell phones are through Republic Wireless, and I know that this will never be more than $18, well, unless I buy more data, but it's pretty typical that it's between $13 and $17, somewhere in there. Okay, our mortgage, we've got a blog post coming up on all the details of this, but we refinanced our mortgage, and this is what our new payment will be each month. It's a little less than this, but we like to round up and have a nice even number. But it's not due. Our new mortgage first payment is not due until May 1st. And so we still budgeted this money this month, but it didn't go toward the mortgage. This was the cost of refinancing. And so that leaves this $1,900 left over. And I'm just going to roll that over, and then in April I'll budget the $3,200, and so it'll still, this $1,900 will follow along in this category, but I'm actually planning to get this up to $3,200 so that our mortgage will be 2 months ahead. That, our whole budget is a month ahead, but I want the mortgage category to have 2 months buffer in there. Internet, same every month. Electricity varies. It was extra high this month. I know next month it's going to be less because I've been watching, but typically it's under 300. Home phone, this is through Ooma. It's internet based, so it's not a typical landline, but it's just $4.35 a month. Our trash gets charged every other month, so this is half of what the bill will be when it comes next month. Same with water, get billed every other month, and this is half of what, well, about half. Anyway, so those are pretty standard. Then moving on to our everyday expenses. Groceries, I budgeted $400. At the beginning of the month we spent $330. There's a whole video on what we bought there. And then at the end of the month we went on a road trip and got some groceries for that. Anyway, ended up spending under $400. Gas is usually a little more than this, but for our road trip I categorized all the fill-ups, the gas for the road trip down under our vacation and fund. So this is 3 weeks of gas essentially. Clothing, bought a few things, not much. For categories like this, probably at the beginning of the month I had, I don't know, $50 or $30 budgeted here. So if I had, say I had $50 budgeted, then at the end of the month, I see that there's this $33 left. Some people like to carry that money over to the next month. But for these categories that I'm funding every month, I prefer to empty those out each month. So zero them out. So if I only spent $16.52, I like to keep that at $16.52 so that it doesn't have any money carrying over. Then all of the extra that I got from spending under on these categories, then that can go toward whatever goal we're working toward. And what we're working on this year is increasing our emergency fund. So that's what that went toward. I also use excess on any of these categories to go toward other categories where I might spend more than I had originally planned on. Like kids' activities, I had budgeted less than this and ended up spending more. So the money that maybe I had toward clothing went toward kids' activities. So household goods, this is anything that's not food that we buy for our house. Toiletries, things for kids' school projects, things for the garden, things for the kitchen. Anyway, things like that. This is a higher month, but under 200. Fun, this month we went out to lunch for a child's birthday. I went out with some girlfriends for appetizers one night. Bought some microphones to go with a karaoke machine that we were given. Animals, we have cats and outdoor cats and chickens. So this is our chicken feed and our cat food. Kids' activities were high this month. I had to get some wrestling shoes for my son and some other wrestling related expenses, and my daughter's in a musical production. I needed a costume for her. So those are our basic everyday expenses. Next, these are our sinking funds. Periodic expenses that will come up eventually. Some of them we know exactly how much they'll be, like life insurance. We know that if we put $70 a month toward our life insurance, that when the premiums are due, we'll have the exact amount we need. Others we don't know, like car repair. We drive older cars and they always need something. So we've been putting $300 a month there. This month we spent some, got the oil change in the van and changed the air filter ourselves. So this is what we have remaining in that category. Medical, most of our medical things are covered except for doctor copays and prescriptions. We went to the doctor a lot of times this month for one kid or another or myself. So this is what we have remaining in that category. Dental, we don't use that often. Put $30 a month. Right now there's $90 in there. Car registration and smog, $40 a month. Right now there's $64 there. Birthdays and gifts. We had a child's birthday party this month and also got gifts for that child and the child who has his birthday next month. So this was a high spend month for that category. There's still $82 in there. For Christmas, we set aside $100. There's currently $300 in that category. And I already mentioned life insurance. We've got some money that's still sitting there for future home projects and furniture. We put $200 toward our road trip, our vacation for spring break. and we spent $445 because some of that was money we had set aside in January and February. The majority of this is gas for driving from here to Washington and back. We also stayed in a motel one night, and we also bought some things for our trip that we'll be able to use in future trips, like a soft rooftop carrier that we really liked and didn't kill the gas mileage like I thought it was going to. I'll link to that in the description. But we bought some pie irons, a new big tarp because it was going to rain. We wanted to put a floating tarp above our tent. Anyway, we have $54 left in that category, and we'll keep funding that category. We've got a family reunion coming up in the summer. We started doing allowances with our kids, and I'll have a whole video and blog post on that in the future. It looks kind of funny because we took cash out and it doesn't, anyway. So that's about $60 a month. We put $500 toward our emergency fund, and we have an automatic $25 for each of our 4 older kids in a 529 that just goes automatically. This doesn't actually ever touch our hands, but I just like to keep track of it here. So I add it specifically in as income so that I can put it in here, but it doesn't ever come to us. We're doing an automatic withdrawal of $550 a month toward my IRA so that by the end of the year it will be maxed out. I put 25% of my blog income aside for self-employment taxes, and that, at least last year I put 30% aside, and it covered the taxes for both my and my husband's businesses. This is for our tax preparer. The supplemental property taxes, you see this is negative here because I took the money out that had been carried over, because it turns out there was enough in our escrow account that escrow paid the supplemental property taxes, which we didn't realize they were going to do. So we didn't need to pay that bill from our pocket like we did earlier in the year. So that money, when I put this negative number in, then it just popped it back up to the available to budget, and then it went toward something else, like the emergency fund. So that pretty much sums it up for March. Let me quickly show you what we're going to do in April. So like I've said, we budget a month ahead. So all the money we earned in March is forwarded here to April's budget. And I already got started on some of these numbers. Our tithing, we tithe on the money we earned the month before. So this is all of our income from March, and we do 10% of that. Fast offering is the same every month. Car insurance, $168.18. Our phones, I'm going to go ahead and put 18. I know it will be less than that, but I'll just put that in to be safe. Our mortgage, the same. Electricity, I'm going to put 300. I know it's less than that, but it's better to have extra. 32.16. We'll put 46 for water. Groceries, I'm going to put 400. Gas, I'm going to put car gas, I'm going to put 400. Clothes, we'll just put 50. Household, let's say 150. Fun, maybe 50. Animals, I'm going to say 80. I know there's a sale on chicken feed, so we might stock up a little bit there. Kids' activities, I'm going to put 100. Let's see. Car repair, I've been doing 300, so do 300. Medical, 100. Dental, 30. car registration 40, birthday 40, Christmas 100, life insurance 70. I'm not going to put anything in these. We'll put 200 again here, 60 again here. I'm going to wait on the emergency fund. I know this $100 is coming out. This retirement I just put in. This is going to come out automatically. I already calculated these. This doesn't exist anymore. So that puts us at $630 left toward our emergency fund goal. So I'm going to put all of that there so that we're at a nice zero here and everything is budgeted. And like I said before, I expect this to change. I'm not going to spend exactly $400 on gas or exactly $150 on household goods, but it's all got to come from somewhere. So if I, for some reason, need to spend $300 on kids' activities, then that other $200 needs to be subtracted from other categories in our budget. Well, there you have it. There's our zero-based month-ahead budget for our family of 7. If you have any questions about what I showed you here or any other budgeting questions, I'm happy to answer them. So just leave them in the comments or leave a comment on my blog, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.